we conduct at Playground. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining. My name is Benny. I'm here with the Playground team. I'm our head of community, and I really spend my time providers, finding out what information you guys want made for you, what events, resources, anything that you need. I spend my time making. For those who are not, and you can see my screen, right?
Yep. There you go. Now I see it.
Now you see it. Awesome. So this is our awesome session we have today with Coach Jen. And I just want to give a little background of those who do not know what Playground is. Hopefully you guys have seen us at some of these childcare success events and in other spaces overall. Playground, we're a childcare management software company, but we view ourselves kind of as the future of childcare software. We're building a lot of very innovative childcare solutions, anything from AI, lesson planning for childcare providers, to integrations to allow you to submit attendance data, meal planning data, straight to state systems. So we're really pushing the boundaries of what childcare software can and should do. Just an overview of what our software actually looks like so you can get an idea. This is our admin dashboard, very user-friendly. You can manage your whole center, all your students. We have chat where you can talk with your families, share photos, share updates. All your documents can be uploaded into Playground with smart fields. So all these fields here are linked to their student accounts, automatically pulls the data into their accounts. We also have a really robust enrollment management system where you can process families through enrollment, send automated updates, and reporting for anything you might need for licensing or for internal, financial reporting, et cetera, et cetera. Very short overview. Now you guys hopefully have a better idea of Playground. If you have any questions, I'm around. I'll be here after the session ends and during the session as well. And we'll be at the conference in October. Come find us if you're at that conference. We'll have a table. I'll be there, and some of our other team members will be there. You'll see us wearing these beautiful Playground t-shirts. Woo! And we'll definitely be bringing the energy. So come say hi. And yeah, without further ado, I want to introduce our coach, Jennifer Slavin. Thank you very much for joining us today. She will be leading today's session. So go ahead, Jen, and work your magic.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, Benny. Let me see if I can just get you all set up here. So hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Coach Jen Slavin. And if you are unfamiliar with me, I'm with the Childcare Success Company, and I'm one of their coaches. I just wanted to give a little bit about myself so that way you could hear a little bit of my story and background and know where I'm coming from. I, about 20 years ago, started in an after-school program as an after-school teacher. And you'll see this picture here on the left. It's me and a little girl, and her name was Alex. And I met her in that school, in that daycare. And her mom came up to me one day and said, I'm going to buy a childcare center, and I was just wondering if you would run it. I had just graduated college, and I thought, okay, sure, why not? Let's try this journey and see how it works. And then you can fast forward 17 years later, and we were owning and operating 9 childcare locations. I was the vice president of operations. And I had down here on the left or right, you can see that was like half of my admin team that I oversaw. I had 2 regional directors and about 18 admin that were directly under me. And it was just such a really fun adventure. We grew from 1 center to 2 centers, then to 3. And then we went from 3 centers to 9 centers overnight. And it was super fun. We've learned a lot over the past years, and it's been an awesome journey. Well, over this past spring, I kind of made a shift. And at the top right here, you can see this is me with my family. I have 4 little kids. They are 9, 8, 5, and 4. And my family is truly my best gift that I have. But they kind of slingshot me into feeling like I needed a little bit more time with family, and running the company was kind of getting to be a little bit too much of weight on my shoulders. I joined as a coach with CCSA in 2019. So that was my journey as a coach, starting there. And so what I did was I ended up taking on the position, just a full-time coaching position, leaving the vice president career behind a little bit, but keeping all of those memories and also those experiences. Down here on the left, they call me, Sparkles, because I generally walk around with glitter and sprinkle it all over the place. It's just a way for me to spread happiness and leave a little bit of sparkle behind. And sometimes months later, people will send me a message and say, I have a piece of glitter sitting on my desk. I don't know how it got there, but it made me think of you and it brought a smile to my face. So it's just a way for me to spread smile and happiness, to those that I meet. And right here down in the middle is our coaching team, which I'm just so honored to be a part of with the Child Care Success Company. We just officially went over reaching 1 million children, and we are just so proud of that goal. That was a goal that Chris set back when she started the company. And so it's been a really exciting adventure to meet that goal. So let's just dive right in here to building communities and fostering communities and helping your child care programs. So just diving straight into why is community important and why is it something that we have to think about as a child care center? There's three main reasons, learning and meeting community needs, online and social media community presence, and supporting and giving back to your community. Community is so important. Right now, people are really seeking to make connections, I think, especially post-pandemic, where people went through a transition of feeling a loss of connection. And so relationships, time, with family, time with friends has become a really high priority on people's lists. So realizing that while we're a child care center, we are living within a community. And we always say that it takes a village to raise children, but really it takes a village to do anything that you're going to do in life that's much larger than yourself. And with children, we are really creating the future. We are giving them that foundation and the building blocks. We're generally their first school experience. And we're also the first experience that parents feel and see and encounter with their children. So a lot of first-time parents or parents that are really unsure. And so creating a sense of community and starting within your childcare program is super important, but then also realizing that your children are part of this larger community that you live in. So learning and meeting community needs, just looking and finding ways to be active in your community, getting involved helps you understand what your community needs are. And that will help you really design the program that you have. So that way the child care center that you have is meeting the exact needs of the community that it lives in. Your online and social media presence community. We know that social media is really a driving force in terms of how people get their information, how people communicate, and it is a really easy and free source for you to put yourself on and make sure that you can reach out to your local community. So just making sure that you're always posting those pictures and finding ways that you can have a presence online, so that way people start seeing you and hearing from you, but then also flipping that and saying, you know what, I want to support my local community. What's going on here? And as your school page, making sure that you're liking the things that are happening in your community, sharing them on your page so your families can see how they can get connected and really start to make that community connection stronger. And then the biggest for me, which is supporting and giving back to your community. Now that you have learned some ways to really connect with your community and why it is, this is where you really start to partner with your community and really become an instrumental piece within the community. So that way, when anybody's thinking of childcare, they're going to go, oh my gosh, that ABC Learning Center is always in the community, always helping out. You really should go check them out. I've met a lot of their staff. I've met a lot of their people, and it will just become sort of a top of mind, but you'll just become like the trademark childcare center in the community for them to go to. So thinking about why is just all of this so important. There's been a small business study that says small businesses grow because they draw innovation, attracting talent that brings inventions or new solutions to old ways of doing business that larger corporations have less flexibility to incorporate. And this is why you see larger companies today wanting to acquire smaller companies, because they're trying to find those more innovative people like Google and Apple. They're always acquiring new, smaller companies. Well, you could be that larger company within your community where you're starting to inquire and making those connections because you're being more innovative and flexible. You also are really a driving force as a small business within your community. So your 3 community connections is what I want you to take away, which is meeting the community needs, your online and social media presence, and supporting and giving back. And as I go through the 5 big ways that you can do this, I want you to remember how you can apply each of these 3 areas as you're moving forward and doing that. So why is it all important? We are almost 100% reliable on our local community. Thinking about who walks in the door to our childcare centers, the majority of the families that you enroll and the children that attend your school are your neighbors. They're the ones living down the street, generally passing you on a daily basis. Most of the time, families want their childcare center to be close to their home. So they don't really want to travel more than about 20 minutes to go to a childcare center. So that is you being almost 100% reliable on your local community to draw in your enrollments and to find a way to make a difference and to find a way to be the top of mind. So there's many ways that you can do this and work with your community. Just to list out a few ways for you to be able to quickly find ways to make those partnerships. If you form local partnerships, such as, next door, you're going to have maybe a dentist office that's next door and you put flyers there and then you take flyers from them and you kind of always share the information so that way you're supporting each other. Joining your local chamber of commerce has always been very instrumental for us. Just because that is a lot of your small business owners, your entrepreneurs from your local community that come together. And it's really the place where you're finding out what is going on in your community, what's happening, what are the events, who's being there, who makes decisions. And you can even get to meet your, maybe local mayor or other really deciding factors within your community. So getting involved in your local chamber, making sure that you're at the meetings and understanding what's going on will help make a huge impact. Again, using the social media and to promote your business and others. Another way that you can leverage your community is by flyers, yard signs, postings. Sometimes I would use the don't ask and apologize later method, where I would just drive around and put yard signs out that just advertised our community. And then if they got taken down, they got taken down, but you might be able to leverage some of those areas, and you can even call your local parks and other places, your townships, to find out if you can put them out. Definitely word of mouth is the largest way that we draw enrollment from our community. Again, using that social media platform, and also just making the difference and impact within your own families and the staff that you have at your schools. They are the ones that are going to go out right away. They're going to be the ones that talk about you, that share the stories about your school, whether they're good or bad, right? Also those reviews that happen, online, good or bad, just making sure that you've had a positive impact, so that way your word of mouth is really strong. I call it business card bombings, where you can just go around and make little business cards that have some information on them and maybe some of your unique selling points, and just, go to a local Target or, big box store and stick them in the windshield of the car or in the handle of the car. So that way they can have a little bit of information from you. And then obviously brochure displays, just going around to all of your local, pediatrician, dentist office, any sort of, even donut place where you might find kids, and just ask if you can display some brochures. Obviously, having promotions and incentives will help your community presence, so that way you can reach out and get the attention of more people, and helping them also realize that there's ways that you can get them into the program and maybe a incentive or some type of promotion. And then creating seasonal content and activities for your community and for your families to enjoy. So the first of my 5 key ways to building community and having great connections is to create a kids corner. I just gave a couple examples of how this could be set up. The one picture on the left is actually at a grocery store, and it's just a table, and it has a couple like crayons and paper, had some books, and it was a place where kids could play while their parents were checking out their groceries. And I thought it was just a really awesome idea for you to be able to maybe sponsor a kids corner at the grocery store. Another example is the bottom middle picture is actually at my dad's dealership. It's a room that I set up while the parents are getting their cars worked on. They have a playroom for the kids to play in, or while they're purchasing a car. And so you could sponsor a kids corner at maybe a local car dealership where you would be able to put up your signage, make sure you have your phone number there, some brochures, flyers, but just supplying some toys and activities for the kids to do while their parents are at the car dealership. I'm sure we've all seen, I don't know if you have, IKEA. I don't know how nationwide or how far that goes, but IKEA has these really big kids corners that they do, and just partnering with them if there's one in your area, or taking that model of what they do where you can find a way to even have like a parents' night out, and the parents can drop their children at your school to play, and they can go out for a little bit, go shopping or go do something. So finding a way that you can sponsor that. And then the one in the top is an example of a setup at a realtor office. So this is a community that's being built, and there's a sponsored kids corner that was just set up with some toys and activities. So while the parents are working through, their house purchase and going through that information, the kids can be playing, and it's easier for the parents to be able to focus and not have to worry about entertaining the kids while they're doing that. A lot of the easiest places would be grocery stores, real estate offices. You can contact your pediatrician office, and just finding those areas where parents really are, where it kind of is a struggle, and setting up a kids corner, contacting the owner or contacting the manager of the store, asking them, proposing your idea, asking them if you can sponsor this area. And it would just be super important that you make sure you have a nice sign that you could hang up with your logo, with your name, with your phone number, your email, contact information, having flyers that they can easily pull, or brochures that they can take with them. And then also just displaying pictures as well. So that way people can see what it is that you do. You could have a QR code that could link them to be able to get information about your school, or for you to get some lead generation on them. And then things to think about having there would be a table, some chairs. You can go as far as having like that little kitchen set or art easel, paper, markers, easy to store activities and toys for the kids to do. And also just having, you could even have little kits of activities for them to make. Oriental Training sells them in bulk, and they come in pre-packaged little activity kits that you could just put a sticker with your logo on it, and they could either do it while they're there or take it with them. The next one would be free kid surprises with any purchase. One of the most exciting community outreach projects that I did when I was vice president of the company is we actually partnered with our local restaurants and pizza shops to help kind of boost their presence in the community, but then also boost ours. So we reached out to local and typically non-chain restaurants and pizza shops, because we wanted to, again, really support our local community, our entrepreneurs. And what we did was, the first thing was down here on the right, you can see it says Alphabet. We put our logo on the front. We ordered these through 4imprint, and it's actually a coloring book, and it's neat because it comes in a little bag, and it has crayons inside, and it has the coloring book, and it's all sealed up nicely. And they're actually very inexpensive. And so we ordered a whole bunch of those. We called a bunch of pizza shops, and we said that if we advertise you and you advertise us, let's pick a day that families can order pizza from you. And when they do order pizza, they're going to get a free surprise, which would be this coloring book. So when they deliver the pizza, or when they come to pick up the pizza, they were to hand out the coloring books. And you can see some of the ads that I made here. This was Carmen's Parkside Pizza, and it said free kids surprise. We're partnering with them. We advertised them, their phone number, their information. In the post that we did, we said, make sure that you mention that you saw this ad and there's a free surprise. But they were giving out the coloring books to anybody that ordered. Just because first, you never know if it's a grandparent that orders, they could give it to their grandchildren, or, a friend that doesn't have kids, they can give it to a person that doesn't have kids, they can give it to their friend that does. Or if it's a family that has children, you kind of have that bonus. It was a really exciting thing for them to be able to get that coloring book when they arrived. I don't have an example of the book, but up here in the middle, we partnered with our local library, and we just said if we can put out information at the library in your kids' area, what we'll do is we'll advertise your library, make sure that we can try to get you some new families coming in. And what we did was we went to Scholastics and we ordered very, very inexpensive. We ordered a lot of books. Just bulk order of a book, and we put a sticker inside with our information, our logo, our phone number, contact info, and we had those books at the library for the library to give away when they had their kids' activities that they did during the week. And so they would just pass out the books when they would have their kids' activities, and we would just advertise, oh, pop over to the library, do this, toddler time activity, and you'll get a free surprise for Magic Memories. And then one of my favorite things that we did was we partnered with restaurants. So we have this local restaurant here. It was called Cricket Corner. And we also did another local restaurant. And because of our philosophy with our school, we were really not like a worksheet or, we always try to do learning through play. And what we created was what we called the block bag. And what we did was we used these at restaurants where children would be sitting down. And a lot of times you get a coloring sheet when you sit at a restaurant, and they last like 2 minutes. So our philosophy or theory behind this was give them something else to do while they're at the restaurant. So we ordered these fun bags. They're reusable Ziploc bags from 4imprint. We put our logo. You can see our logo and information on the front. And then we just ordered from Discount School Supplies. We just bulk ordered blocks and animal figurines. And you can see here in the middle, like we put a couple blocks in there with a couple animals and figurines inside this bag. And anytime that a family came in, they were to give a block bag to each of the kids that were sitting, at the table at the restaurant. And again, it was just a way for the kids to have something more to do than a coloring sheet at the table. They could build with the blocks and, play and make believe while they're waiting for their food. But then also got our information out there. And we would, like I said, we post their information, their phone numbers. I took some photos of their food off their Facebook and added it on there so people could see like the type of food that they serve, and just kind of try to help advertise that local business while they would advertise us when they came in. The next big way that you can join your local a-thon activities and events within your community. This is just an example of, it was called a Color Me Fun Run. Basically like a run, but it was with the local school district. And we set up a table. We got these cute cups. We got them off of Oriental Trading. And I created this label that went inside here where they could color our logo and color around our logo. And we handed those out, and the kids could come and color and get a cup. You can see like on the back of the shirt, we put our name and advertisement on the shirts because everybody wore a white shirt to run. And because what they did is they threw color bags at each other while they ran. So we just really dove into that color theme, joined and partnered with them. And it was just a great way for us to get our name out into the school district and really working closely with them and the community. One of my all-time favorites is really diving into your community, and I call it Never Too Young to Make a Difference. And this was actually, it started off as a camp, and what we did was each week was a theme for the campers to reach out to the community to make a difference. So, 1 week you see the dogs, so we found an animal shelter that we could work with, and the kids worked together to learn about what is an animal shelter and how do they work and why they're important. And then what we did was we made homemade doggy treats for the dogs. And then we organized a time with the shelter for the kids to make a field trip to the shelter and deliver the doggy treats. And then we got a tour of the shelter and we were able to give them the treats and really bring that whole learning, week about the animal shelter to flourish. And for each child, it really made a difference to them to understand what the shelter does, how it works. Another one, we partnered with our local food bank, and we taught the children about what food banks are, why they're important, how it's a big resource for families in the area. And we did a food drive in conjunction with that, and families would bring in, the food that they need. They also sometimes needed other items, like they always need socks and other like small clothing items. So we asked the shelter for a list of what they need the most of, and we sent that out to our families, and we made a collection of that. And so the kids throughout the week were collecting that, sorting that, and then we took a field trip to the food shelter and the food shelter, and we were able to deliver all of the goods to them and make sure that they saw that we did this collection, and the kids could learn how we are helping the community and being able to fill the shelves with the stuff that we brought and know that we were helping somebody out in need. So just finding a way that you can reach out to your, food pantries, animal shelters. You could do maternity care centers and other community resources. I know there's some free, health clinics, things like that in communities that you could find out what it is that your kids could learn about it and really grow in such a big way as such a small person, and realize that we're all here to take care of each other. Sometimes we need more than others. So they get to learn how to care and also give back to their community while making a huge difference and having fun and making memories along the way. So the next is to join your parades and your local events. And you can see me up here on the left. This is a Halloween parade that we did all the time. We joined with our community. We always just really looked at the chamber events and we looked at the community events of what was going on, and we signed up for everything. A picture here in the middle was it's called the Dogwood Parade. We were known for dogwoods in this town, and so we would always be in that parade. We had other events that the community across the street from where our childcare center was, they always had like a family day once a month. And so we would just set up a table with snacks and activities for the kids to do, and they could come and do those. Down here in the middle, I already spoke about the local athons. Down in the middle here is a table that we'd set up. It was called First Friday. So the first Friday of every month, this town, their street would close down and turn into like a beer garden / just community event. And we would set a table up with activities for the kids to do, some things to give away. And obviously we would collect all lead generation, have a QR code or some way to, collect people's names as they stop by. And then down on the right, we started trunk or treats, and it wasn't just for our families, it was open to the whole community. So we would, really advertise it. We would send out info. We would have our parents share it. So just having a way that you can join in anything that's, happening in your area that you can become a part of and just get your name out there. Like I said, always having a QR code or some way for somebody to get information about your school or a way for you to collect information. The best way to collect information is to have a giveaway, so that you just collect their name, phone number, email address, and then you can add them to your system. And then the last but not least, which is my all-time favorite, is I say create your own event. Who and what is stopping us from being in our communities and creating an event that would, become something even bigger than we could possibly imagine? There's one story that I know that she started it off by just doing this little community fair. She asked the park if she could, use the park and do a little fair. She just had some trucks come, and she, had some cotton candy and some little events. Well, it ended up turning into such a huge event that the community looked forward to it every year so much that it became a carnival, and there were rides and everything, and it was all solely sponsored by this one school. And I mean, just what a cool event that every summer people were looking forward to, like it could be looking forward to ABC Learning's carnival, and knowing that you have full sponsorship of an entire carnival in your community. So I always say shoot for the stars because it's definitely reachable. One of my favorites is the one here on the left. We, during COVID, and this is when I say get creative, because you can do anything. We felt bad because a lot of people were canceling trick or treat, and so our brains kept spinning and spinning. And what we ended up designing was what we called the drive-through family flashlight extravaganza. And what we did was we set up stations, as you can see in each of these pictures, where they would come in, and we would have this story, and the car would pull up to this pumpkin and this scarecrow right here, and we had teachers read the story of the spookily the square pumpkin to the kids, and they could put their heads out the car and listen to the story. After the story was over, they drove on to like the baby shark right here. So the teachers were in the baby shark costumes, singing the baby shark song as it's like playing, and they're dancing around and singing with the kids. Down here, this was a flashlight scavenger hunt. So we just created like a bingo sheet, and they had to use their flashlight to shine and find the pictures on that's actually a shower curtain that we found. And they just had to find those pictures and circle them on their card. And then we had a couple other things that they did. There was like a ball throwing game that they did out the window. They had a pumpkin contest where they judged pumpkins to pick their favorite one. But then at the end, we sent them off. They had dinner. It was just a bagged dinner where we did like little peanut butter jelly sandwiches. We did juice. We did some of the healthy snacks that we serve in our lunches. We advertised this to the entire community. It was a free event for anybody to come through. There was a QR code that they scanned when they pulled up. And that's how we collected the information. We had 2 separate QR codes, one for families that were a part of our center, and then one for families that were not a part of our center. And just to kind of filter out that, because we did have a giveaway that we partnered with Love Every, and we gave away a subscription for one of our prizes. So it was just a really cool event. And again, when you're, going through those times of uncertainty and not sure how you can do something like a community event, get your thinking cap on, because it was a really, really huge hit. And people really loved it. And we got so many families coming through and just got the best feedback from it. One of my other favorites was we did a summer bash that's here in the middle. We had games, we had like all the fire, the police, the ambulance. They came out for the kids to, look at the trucks and cars and everything and learn about them. We actually hired a girl. She's a character, she dresses up as Moana. So she walked around, took pictures with the kids, gave signatures. We had some moon bounces there. We had these hats made so the kids could color the hats, and we had just a table set up where they could color them. And then we had this awesome guy, his name's Grandpa Bubbles. He does these ginormous bubbles, and he sets up this area where the kids have their own big wands and they can make their own bubbles. And he just makes bubbles the size of like big vans. So it's just really cool and really fun and really exciting. I think the best part of it all was I called up Chick-fil-A down the street and I said, hey, we were thinking of ordering food, but we wanted to be really quick, easy takeaway food for the families to take. Can we do boxes, but what could we partner with you? So they said absolutely. And they actually met us 50-50. So whatever we spent, they would match 50%, like 50-50 of that. And so we spent $1,000 on food. They spent $1,000 on food. But not only that, they brought the cow for everybody to meet, and he walked around. And they also gave us, hundreds of they're like it's like a gift card, but it's hundreds of free ice cream cone, free kids meal, free sandwich, free breakfast. And when I say hundreds, it was hundreds. And we had so many left over, we couldn't even give them away in time for them to be used up. But it was really cool because we kept them and we gave them away on tours and things. Like after that, we gave them to our staff for, appreciation. But all the free stuff that they brought us was just, just exceptional, and only for $1,000 for all of that, which was crazy. And we had the school open for tours. So we had staff there to be able to walk around and give families tours. We gave away, I think we gave away an iPad at this one. So that's how we collected names and information. But it was just a really cool thing. We called it, a summer fun bash. And we had thousands of people interested in coming. So we had a huge turnout, and it turned out to be a really cool event. Another one I like to highlight is one from the Academy. They actually have a 4th of July party in their community that happens every single year. It's huge. It's like a block party. Well, their center actually backs up to the street that got shut down for that. And just, through coaching and everything, they came up with the idea that they were going to just open up their playground. So they opened the fence because they can open up their fence back there to the area where people were walking. And they drew people in because they were giving away these LED foam ones. I'm sure you've seen them. They blink and like people just wave them around. They set up a table with all of their information, but they said, come play with us. So the kids could come play on the playgrounds, while they're attending this 4th of July event. And I just really like the innovation of creating their own, space within the community and opening that up while they're all walking around. I think that the possibilities with the community is endless, and you can definitely be creative and just kind of make a name for yourself in all of that. So I wanted to just speak a little bit about my CCSA journey, just so that way you can learn more about the Child Care Success Company. This is me when I first became a coach. It was pretty cool to see my face on a banner there. This is me with Chris. She actually named me the 2018 Director of the Year. So that was just a really huge honor, just given the fact that there's a couple hundred directors in the Academy, and I was chosen as that one. This is just, me and one of our meetings, coaching and working with our team. This is me. I had the largest room filled at our Vegas summit, and they were actually lined up so much outside the door, and then there was people sitting on the ground. So it was just really fun. And it's just amazing the community that they have. They highlighted me on stage. I was the first director to ever be brought up as a panelist in one of the summits, and then have been able to meet some really amazing, inspirational people. The summit is definitely the place for that. I was featured on the Child Care Rockstar Radio. Again, I was the first non-owner. So it was really exciting to be on there. If you want to hear that podcast, definitely go check it out. And then I was actually highlighted in 3 of Chris's books. So I share this with you because the Child Care Success Company and the Child Care Success Academy is really what has inspired a lot of what I've presented to you today. A lot of what I did every single day in the schools, I realized that being a part of the community is super important, but the Child Care Success Academy has given me that confidence and kind of that nudge and push. And then also that accountability. It's a community that I could not, replace ever, because it is just so great and has been so instrumental in my journey. And I think that it really helped kind of ignite a lot of those things that I presented to you today. That also brings us to, we have a gift for you. We really want to thank you for attending today. And what we have is an Empowered Educators training course. It's our first ever course that we specifically gear towards teachers, and we are giving it to you for free. So definitely use this link, copy and paste it. It's a 12-module course. It's really exceptional. We were extremely intentional with everything that we did. And I think that if you're owners on this call, it would really help your team understand maybe the business aspect and the support that they really do bring as their role as teachers. And then also, you need your teachers to have that buy-in to really help you be that presence in the community. You can't do it yourself. It's really hard to, be an owner and carry the ship all by yourself, or drive the bus all by yourself. Getting them involved and excited and helping them really understand the why will definitely help them get involved. All the pictures that I shared, you could see a lot of my team was always there. We had, teachers that were always excited to jump in and join the community events. They thought it was just as much fun. They had all the school pride. So getting your teachers and your staff really understanding the why and learning from the coaches on the CCSA team, be able to help them realize how they can support you in that process. And then we also wanted to let you know that this is the last chance for the summit tickets. We're almost sold out. So there's only 5 more days for the $300 off, which if you're not going, hint, hint to some of those that aren't, this is your chance to get that great deal on the $300 off through September 3rd. So we don't have many days left. But yeah, now I want you to get out there. I want you to jump into there's the cow, me and the cow, jump into your communities, really give back. I mean, it doesn't only get your name out there, it really helps warm your heart. It really helps make you put that like large fingerprint in your community and in what you're doing in this world. Get creative, have your team help you. Like I said, it takes a village. But it also takes a village for our communities to grow and thrive. And I think that we've learned that a lot over the past couple of years, that we want to be able to hold each other up, lift each other up, make a difference, be a positive impact. And that's really what matters most in the world. So the only other most important part of that is that you're having fun while you're doing it and making good connections. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Coach Jen Slavin, and this has just been an honor. I am open to questions or any way that I can help, or even clarification on some ideas.
That was so awesome. Thank you so much, Jen, for that wonderful presentation. I loved a lot of the ideas you came out with. You're very creative in all the different things you were able to put together. Yeah, if anyone has any questions, you can go ahead and send it to the chat, Q&A, anywhere there, we will respond. And I'm also going to go ahead and share my screen again and just share this with anyone who wants. We also have a resource that we made with Jen to highlight these different event ideas, and just so you can keep it for your records. Whenever you're wondering, hey, what should I do? Now you can know. So you can download that by just scanning this QR code. And you can also, if you want to learn more about Playground, for those who may not be familiar with Playground, you can scan this QR code to learn more as well. So those are both available to you. Jen, I had one person who, when we were setting the session out, they asked me, what about building community within your childcare center? So all the things you discussed right now were, external community building. What about once you already have a community and you want to foster that?
Yeah, so that's a huge thing that we talk about, right, in the academy, because your culture, we always say people leave people, they don't leave jobs because they're going to pick up and go to a job, tomorrow, but they're leaving because they're unhappy in the community that, they call their job. So I think that the best way to really, really work on your community is to build a specific culture. So, starting with core values and making sure that you have that foundation of this is who we are, this is what we stand for, always really living and just reaffirming that mission, vision, and core values is going to be the best way to build your culture. One of the biggest things within our centers, we were always health and safety was #1 priority to us, because we always said, if we can't keep the children safe, then we're not doing our job at all, right? Like that's like the basis of what we do. It was so important. So, safety was just always #1. And it was sort of kind of that non-negotiable, right? You would always get the mom voice from me if there was a safety issue or concern, largely because the expectation was that there's like zero tolerance for, anything that would really jeopardize the safety of the children and of each other. Outside of that, if you have a core value of family, like what does that really mean to you? A lot of people throw the word family around, and we are a family, but to some extent we're not family, because family, to some degree, you really can't leave, your blood. You can leave, you cannot, you can make changes in your life and not really talk to your family anymore, but there's certain things that really always connect you. But as a family in a school, as a family, as coworkers, really defining what that means in terms of, is it that we're just, we're always there for each other. We're going to have each other's back. We're going to pick up after each other. We're going to, be respectful when we communicate with each other. So just finding ways that you're like looking at your core values in a way that really makes it clear to them. And one of the biggest things that we coach on is having behaviors that apply to your core values. So not just saying that you're family, but a behavior would be, if you have a concern, that you are respectfully, meeting with the person that you have a concern, expressing those concern. And then if somebody's approaching you, that you are receptive and open to hearing somebody else's concern, and really defining what those behaviors are. Even like fun. A lot of people like to say fun as a core value, right? So that means something different to so many people, right? My version of fun and my husband's version of fun are very different too. So it's like you have to look at what is the behavior that you're asking when you say have fun. And some of, the behaviors that you could look at would be, to come in and, contribute to a positive environment, right? That might be a way to have fun. So for me, I say start with your foundation, your mission, your vision, your core values. That should be in your language every single day. You should be saying, wow, you're really living up the core value of this. You're really living up the core values of this. Or when you're even meeting with your one-on-ones and giving feedback to staff, using the core values as feedback. I saw that this happened, but that really goes against our core value of integrity, and just helping keep that in the language. And that really helps people bond to a greater purpose. We really don't just want to be being in this world, right? We want to have a purpose. We want to have a mark. We want to have connections. So giving somebody the opportunity to really shine as themselves, who they are. I will always, if to Coach Tamina, she's awesome, but she is always telling it like it is, right? She does not like glitter at all. And she said to me one time, you really need to find how other people sparkle. And I could have easily been hurt by that, right? Like, or, taking offense to that. But I really appreciated it because I need sometimes to figure out how other people sparkle. And in my 17 years of using glitter, I have definitely come across a lot of people that were like, and they panic and freak out. And as the leader of the school, I can't do something to somebody that I usually sprinkle it on people's heads, but you don't want to upset somebody to the point where it really offends them. And I was just at a conference recently, and she's like, no, your sparkle is pink. If it was any other color than pink, I hate pink. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never had somebody tell me that they would take sparkles if it was a different color. So I think I use these analogies only because that's the way to find out how people work, right? And just being open enough to hear what people are saying, being really in tune with, like, when I walk up to somebody and I look at their eyes and I have glitter, I can tell if they want glitter or not, right? So just not really forcing it and just looking at a lot of those nonverbal cues. It all comes down to relationships and how you're working at your relationships, and then how you're living out that culture.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Anyone else questions? I will accept all the glitter at our table at the conference. So we're looking forward to that.
I've been banned a little bit, so I don't know how much I can do, because
I remember last year someone had those. I mentioned they had the glitter in the water. They would put glitter in your water.
Yes, whoa. I know. I have to get creative because the hotels are telling me they don't want to replace their carpets because they can't get the glitter out. Well, any other questions, or you can always pop in the chat, or
and I think I may have been sharing the wrong screen before, but yeah, these are the QR codes. If anyone has any questions, Jen, do you have an email that people can reach you at if they want to get in touch?
Yeah, it's I can put it in the chat.
And we will be sharing out the recording afterwards, as well as the resources that we've mentioned today. So if you have any additional questions, you can always respond to that. I'm happy to connect Jen with anyone that wants. And I hope to see many of you at the Childcare Success Conference coming up in October. I'm very excited.
We're super excited. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Jen, for joining us. That was a wonderful session, jam-packed with ideas. And I hope everyone got something to take home.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a really awesome day.
Take care. Bye, everyone.